All right. All right. Peace, 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 peace. This is Movie in the Standings, and I'm Aki Low. It's just me. You know what I'm talking about? And here we are again, and we are back at it with the movie Mother. Peace, Chief. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about? It's good to see you. You know what I'm talking about? as like Zach would say, peace to the Chief. You know what I'm talking about? Um, glad to have you in the space. So um with this um movie, it was a lot to it was a lot to decipher and things like that, but it was good. You know what I'm talking about? Peace of Sister Deirdre. um it was very interesting. Also it was artsy in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? So you know but a very interesting film. you know um I would say that um it sets you on um a journey through uh biblical history in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? But you can easily pick out who everyone is, and as the movie goes on, it just gets a little bit splotchy as you watch. And but first we see fire, and um the character him. You know, that's really the character's name, him. Him downstairs. Where the cookies? Where the cookies and ish? Him downstairs. So him, he sets a crystal on the stand, and as he sets the crystal on the stand, um, a burned down house really revitalizes itself. Um, from being a burned house into its original state. And then we go to the bedroom. Yes, Sister Deirdre. We ain't got there yet, but okay. Yeah. but but okay. Man, go on for the ride. Look at you read ahead. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So here we go. When it comes down to Mother, that's her name, Mother. She basically, wakes up. You know what I'm talking about. And Cackle City. Yeah. Um and so she, first starts in the home, you know what I'm talking about, and I thought she was putting plaster on the wall. Cause like, oh, drywall. What she about to do? Redo the wall. But looks like she's painting the wall. She's basically trying to find the right color, to paint the wall in her interpretation. But she chooses like a egg green. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, symbol heavy film. She say, and it unfolds slowly like you're watching a painting line being drawn. Yes, I totally agree with that. You know what I'm talking about? But it's like you know uh she puts her hand on the wall, right? She puts her hands on the wall, and we see a heart, beating, and you can see that the heart is healthy. The heart is healthy, healthily beating, and things like that. And you realize that that is the heart of the house. And basically, Mother is the house. You know what I'm saying? Mother is basically, as someone said in the comments, Um, basically is a representation of Earth, or Mother Earth. That's why, you know, they call her Mother, you know. And the house is basically Earth. DJ Shmoney. Okay. Peace. Peace, sister, sister Sham. And so uh we see that, and that she's, basically mother, that's her thing. She doesn't need anything. She just wants to fix the house up, and things like that, um, and whatnot. It's the heart, not also um, representing representative of a seed being present already. How so, Sister Deidre? You know, um, how so? A seed is to how, you know. Maybe I'm being basic right now, but yeah. As soon as we see Ed Harris, with the gash, we knew what it was. Yes, we get to see Man. That's his name. You know what I'm talking about? And he goes into the house. Now, Man is old. He's an old man. Ed Harris. He's not. Usually when you see Adam or Adam, he's a young man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ever seen the movie, what is it? The Bible in the beginning, he had Peter O'Toole in it, and George C. Scott, and then in the beginning, you got the narrator, talk, giving the Genesis verses and whatnot, and then you see Adam, and then he just wakes up, from the dirt, and got the orchestra playing in the background, but he's young, he look like, 13, something like that, but I remember that scene. And then he just reaches out, like you reaching out to the heavens, like Michelangelo's painting or something. But yeah, Man comes into the house. He just comes in. You know what I'm saying? That's what's interesting about this film. It's like humanity is is it the greatest story ever told? No, it's not the greatest story ever. So it's actually like it's called, should be called the Bible Genesis. Man, it had George C. Scott in it, Peter O'Toole. It's not the greatest story ever told because that deals with Jesus. I remember that movie. But it deals with basically nothing but Genesis. Deals with Noah. It deals with Adam and Eve. It deals with Abraham and Lot, and things like that. I just can't remember I think it was, and I used to have it on tape, but anyway, it don't matter. um, Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah, they were as old as Adam and Eve probably were, considering they lived into the 900s. Yeah, I just find it well. Why couldn't we? Well, okay. I don't picture, Adam and Eve as Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer, but okay, we'll go with it. You know what I'm talking about? But it was interesting, or whatever. Um, and so, he comes in, and he's like, I'm a doctor, you know what I'm saying? But he's, he looks at, like, what was interesting is, like, he looks at Mother like, oh, I know you. Like, have we met somewhere before? You know, but it's never really stated. But then you see, how Man comes into the house. It's interesting how I got my notes. It's like Man does this, Man does that, woman does, So Man comes into the house, and he wants to stay there too. Right. Now him says, oh, oh yeah, you can do that. And and mother looks at him like, what? You just gonna invite some stranger into the house? You know what I'm saying? And that's what her issue is. She's like, can I talk to you for a minute? Very, very interesting relationship, as a couple, married couple. You know, why is he staying here? So be okay, okay. But he's a stranger, My mama taught me about strangers too. So yeah, I'll get one on that, mom. He's a stranger. He should not be in the house. You know what I'm saying? And she don't want him staying, but him is like, oh, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. So he stays in the house, and all of a sudden, man has a smoking habit, and she's like, don't smoke in the house. He goes outside, already showing how man has habits, bad habits like the smoking, So he's like, oh, I gotta go smoke outside. You know what I'm saying? Which is interesting. Usually, you know, we don't get to the bad habits of man and woman until the biting of the apple, or the biting of the forbidden fruit, whatever you want to call it, what I'm saying. But here, it's like off the jump, we see that man is just going to come in and invite himself in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm rich working, whatnot, and invite himself to a house. As a stranger, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't give his name and things like that. What you say? In my father's house, there are many mansions. He said the house was too big just for the two of them. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It was too big just for the two of them. So I'm surprised, here I am. Look, the house was big for the two of them. And he didn't even say, come on, let's make man of our own image. you know. Man had no home training. He did not have any home training. That's for sure. She said, we don't smoke. He was like, good for you. She said, we don't allow smoke in the house. And he threw the cigarette on their front yard. I know, right? Like, he was just like one of the house guests, that's just bad, disrespectful. And you like, what the, like, so it's like, okay, Charlie Murphy shoot out of the stories and Rick James is nice place. Why not just stretch out on the couch? And he got his, they go, boots on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Yo, couch. Same thing. Same thing here. You know what I'm talking about? And so, we already see that man is just going to be an issue. He's going to be an issue in the house. But also he's sick. Man is sick. He's sick. He's always coughing because of those things, and so it is basically him that takes care of him. While basically mother goes and do her stuff. But one thing we also see is that him tells man the story of the crystal, and how he found it, and in a fire, when his house burned down, and it's like that woman changed my whole life, give me one of those stories, and how it breathes life into the house. You know what I'm talking about? And man is rebellious from the beginning. The shot you gave me, yes, but we don't even get to that. We don't have man. Return woman like I got the receipt. And this product is defective. I need you to send me another one. Buyer beware, dude. You break it, you bought it. But yeah, we have that. You know what I'm talking about? And so you know, sh- mother goes downstairs for a minute because she hears the coughing, and she sees man throwing up. And one thing you see is that he has a a a wound on, on his back, on the side of his back, which we can already see that that is the taking of the rib. You know what I'm saying? Taking of the rib. And and as she looks at it, you see him hiding it. You know what I'm saying? But he's throwing up, you know what I'm saying? Throwing up something. But as that's happening, we see that mother has this reoccurring pain. She's pain, and that pain is also attached to the house. And as she goes through pain, sometimes the house would deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? In certain spots. You know, so as you can see that the house and mother are symbiont. you know um they share a life in that sense, because they're one and the same. You know what I'm talking about? And then we see woman come in, and she's a dang on firecracker, and we know that she's man's wife. But but I'm gonna be honest. When I looked at woman, I was like, she's gonna be the fiery temptress. She got the look. She got the look in her eye, like she's the fiery temptress, right? Well, we just gonna say it like that. But here I am, looking at her, and then I see how she looks at him, and I'm like, well, they I ain't gonna say it, but I'm like, they looking at each other like they done been together before. Like she just like, yeah, they look how close. She just looks, and she looks at mother like, oh, I know you. Like she is the side chick. I'm like, what the hints, you see. You know what I'm talking about? Foreshadow, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and then she comes to basically live in the house. You know what I'm saying? Once again, you got another uninvited guest. You know what I'm talking about? And him just says, yeah, 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 yeah. And she's like, did you know he had a wife? Like, yeah, 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 sure, sure, sure. It's okay. It's okay. They can come in. He's highly cool with it, where she's not, and so they talk with the couple, and they talk about, marriage and their children, and they have two sons. You know what I'm saying? I found it interesting that man, said, oh yeah, I have a son. And then he's like, oh, and our other son, her boy. You know what I'm saying? I hope you peep that one. He's like, her boy, her son. you you know what I'm talking about. And you have that, and um we see that they talk about kids, and they ask, well, why don't you have kids? And we see that mother is distance on the subject, and she's like, I just want to work on the house and things like that. She gives an answer like it's fake. It's a fake answer. Like she really knows why, but she doesn't want to say it. And you can actually tell that him and mother don't really have an intimate relationship. She wants to be intimate with him, but he wants to be intimate with him. You see, but he doesn't want to. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, um, okay, shmoney. So I mean, you have that, and then all right, peace, sovereign eats. You know what I'm talking about? And we see, him and man, they go out for a walk. As you see, they go, walk around, in nature and stuff, and woman and mother are left there to do laundry. You know what I'm talking about? They're left to do laundry. And what happens is she asks, woman is just rude. You know, she's rude in the sense where she doesn't have no filter. You know, she's asking all these questions, you know. um, and she asks, why don't she asks her person, why you don't want kids? You know, like she observes her, you know, and then she's like, well, maybe, if he doesn't want to, she figures it all out. You know, I'm talking about Peace, Master Antonio. And she keeps on asking questions as they're in the basement and they're doing laundry. One thing she does, she takes out the clothes, the wet clothes that's in the washer, and just throw them on the floor. It's like that, and then puts her stuff in. And then you see she got this these neon green underwear, you know, highly well, highly loud and and well for the well the older woman I know would have said that's cheap, but only cheap women wear those type of things. But she looks at the underwear that mother has. She's like, oh no, you ain't gonna get them with this, because she had like blue ones or something or whatever. But she brought the loud neon green. Ugh. And here I am like, oh, so that's what we're insinuating. you know, yeah, she puts them on the floor, Sister Masha, and Mother does the same thing. But woman does have no behavior whatsoever. Look at us. She has no behavior. She's woman. She's loose. You see, I look. Woman down loose. You see that? She's loose, and she's just out there, and as that happens, she pries like, well, either it's him, or maybe he's doing this, but she don't want to say that. Maybe he's cheating, or maybe he doesn't want to have sex with her, things like that. She's like, it's none of my business, you know what I'm saying? But here you are opening a can of worms, basically, getting into somebody that you've only known for 5 minutes in their business. She makes lemonade, that was one thing, spiked lemonade or whatever. And see, you said it too, Sovereignities. And she leaves the kitchen dirty. Ugh, woman is nasty. We ain't talking about y'all, but she nasty. Just go leave it there. My WTFs per minute were super high during this movie. Yes. She just made a mess and just left it there. And usually you would think that we're gone with with the Bible. Usually man and woman were basically the stewards of Eden. So but here you have them highly nasty, and they don't clean up behind themselves. There's they're slobs, and they're just uncouth. Yes, she is scandalous, and whatnot. And so mother confronts him about man, and as that's happening, man and woman are up in the study of him. Him study. See, him study. Up in him study. Now, woman tries to go up there before that, but mother's like, you can't go in there. He doesn't like nobody in there, when he's not there. But she's like, I just want to come in and, just going into the house and into its many rooms, without asking, can I go up there? Him upstairs. I'm talking about. You got these two people. They already invited themselves in, like literally, and now they're just freely exploring the house, not showing any, modesty or anything like that. You can tell that, woman don't have no dang on shame. You can, even though she's, the pit dad's older woman, you can tell, woman look like she for the streets. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just gonna say it. Woman look like she was for the streets. I thought that was like, she for the streets. Like, you just feel up on the vibe. I'm just gonna say it. she just felt like she was on the street. She just had that look. What I'm talking about. And neon green underwear. What? Who? Who? You can tell she don't have no fashion sense. Cheap woman. Weird. That bugged me. It's like, what? Ooh, I know in the dark we can find you, but really, Neon, right? I found that funny, like for real. But what'd you say? Yes, I had to read a little bit about the ride that he didn't know, which was really good. So I could see several references there. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, Mother drinking also. Um, Neon Yellow Pixie Opium, and her staring at the walls instantly made me think of America. Popular yellow wallpaper, creepy. Yeah, every time she has those pains, she drinks like a now I'm gonna say yellow pixie dust. That's in this little bottle that looks like it has, narcotics. And uh, you could tell that it has energy in it, yellow energy, and every time it reacts to the water, and so she drinks it, and then every time she drinks it, she's fine. You know what I'm saying? On second thought, I think they done failed already. It felt like they already failed. You know what I'm saying? And with the uh or you could say that they were probably set up to fail from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? Because the way they depicted him or Yad, he doesn't care about the house or mother or anything. He always, well, at this point he sits up in his study trying to write, and he can't write. You know what I'm saying? He can't write anything. You know what I'm saying? I wonder about the neon green things and their connection to the neon yellow drink. I wonder if there's a connection. I did too, but I couldn't really think of a connection at that point. Um, Even though you see it more than once, I was like, What's that? Uh, that was like hidden from me. And because of that, I was still trying to catch up to certain things, so I'd be able to peep um, the meaning behind certain things. You know what I'm talking about? And but after that, we see man and woman. They touched the crystal and they broke the crystal. They broke the crystal, and you know when that happens, him gets mad. You know what I'm saying? See him. Can't stop it. Him gets mad. Him downstairs. But I can just go get it myself then. um, and he kicks everybody out, and then woman is like, "Yes, finally we can get these people out our house." You know what I'm saying? Um, the drink suppresses her over, stimulates somatic experience. Okay, got you. Um, see all those big words, but for sure. Um, get him some milk and cookies. To, to get some milk and cookies. To get some milk and cookies. Okay. Yeah, it was like having two tall toddlers because they just touching stuff they ain't supposed to be touching. You know, it's supposed to be grown people and they touching stuff. See, just rude, just rude. You know, they ain't had no training. What they try, it's like, okay, y'all didn't teach them home training in this movie, therefore they are like that. You know what I'm talking about? They just wild. You know, them kids, wow. You know, but him, he tries to fix the crystal, right? And once he fixes it, you know, he uses it with his own blood, you know. But I thought it was interesting how badly man wanted to touch the crystal the first time. Yeah. Um it was very interesting. But it was also more interesting how he he was so into him and idolized him. It's like, oh, I read your work and it's like that. You know, your work changed my life. You know, and things like that. So yeah, I totally feel you on that. That's Antonio. You know what I'm talking about? But him blocks the doors, the doors to his study. And then here comes younger brother and oldest son. And here they are arguing about their father's will. Because, like I say, him is like he's coughing and dying. You know, he's basically dying or whatever. And you know, he came to live at the house to to as his last journey. Until he goes up into the upper room where Jesus going to the upper room. That's where he going to the upper room. you know, um, and so they're arguing about the will. Now we can already tell this is the Cain and Abel story. You know what I'm saying? But instead of them fighting over favor of Yah and sacrifices, they're fighting over favor with the will of him. I mean, well, not him, but man. Like man left a will and he gave it to uh, the younger brother and not the elder son. And so here you have these two once again these two grown men that throwing a tantrum, and then they start to fighting, and mother's seeing this and she really wants them to go. She always said, I already think you should leave after they made him mad. Made him mad. See, I can't, made him mad. And then she's like, man, y'all need to go. And then she sees, man and woman, heavy petting each other, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. And here we have, she knocks on the door again, and here you have woman coming to the door like a thought. Like for real. That's what I said. She from the streets, It's like my husband is this, and then she shuts the door and mother's face, just being disrespectful in her house, what I'm talking about, but it is what it is. See, um, uh, so I can see this is gonna be a run joint. It was concerned, it was mad, him downstairs. Exactly, I can't make this up. Look, Master Antonio, I'm not even trying. I'm not even trying to make a joke. It's just there. It's just there. I can't do nothing with it. You know what I'm talking about? I can't do nothing with it. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about? And that's why he wants to touch the crystal so badly. Okay, I didn't read it all. Let me see. This is the Deirdre says, this is how we know it is after the fall because Cain and Abel are grown. Them being at the house could be them trying to get back to the garden. Um, you can say that. I thought that too. Um, just Crystal so bad. I thought that too. Or you can say that basically the house is earth and the crystal may be the garden. You know what I'm talking about? In that sense, it's sort of, you know, we know they're there, but you know, because we know the story. But it's like, you know, it's before the, I mean, it's after the fall, but there had to be a fall to to go down, and you don't see the fall. You know, we just know it's after it, but it did. But when you see like him going through, well, not him, but man, you know, having the cut on his back and things like that, we know that's before the fall. We know that he comes first, so therefore we know that um it's before and it's pseudo after. It's like it's all at the same time. It's before, after at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Where where the mannerisms are like after the fall, but everything's happened before. You know what I'm saying? I know that's puzzling, but that's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Um it was forbidden and they kept going straight to the crystal like ooh shiny. Ooh piece of candy, ooh piece of candy. You know, yeah, shinies, you know, my own, my precious, you know, it was like that. You know what I'm saying? But as oldest son and younger brother, you know, are fighting, you know, oldest son kills younger brother, you know, and they're just arguing over the will. But he gets killed, you know, with a doorknob as if he's being killed by the stone, like Cain's coming with the stone. But well, the blood that Abel sheds on the wooden floor in the house, I always wanted to call it the place of the first killing, just because of the simple fact that that place is always reoccurring. It's like, and look, here's another one. I'm always thinking of Quiet Bill of White, the place of the killing. This is the place of the first killing. And you know, that place is never the same again. That part of the house or that part of the floor is never the same again after Abel sheds his, well, youngest brother sheds his blood on that, on that floor. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and you know they pick him up and then they take him out the house. You know, uh, him, man, woman, and whatnot. And you know, oldest brother. You know, after he's done kill him, he runs. He runs out the house. But mother is left there alone in the house. You know what I'm talking about? But he's told, him tells her, you know, lock all the doors, and whatnot, and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? And she does that. But she puts her hands on the walls again or whatever, and she sees that there's a rot on basically, or the heart is basically starting to rot. You know, and you know, then we see her going uh downstairs into the basement, and she finds a secret room in the basement, you know, because of the blood that basically Abel's blood that was being shared. It blows out the light, um and it gets on the walls, and then all of a sudden, you know, the wall is very, you know, easy to get into, and then she sees another corridor um in that part of the basement, you know. But we see that oldest son, he comes back, but he comes back for his wallet. But you see that, he still has basically a blood mark on his forehead, which, mark of Cain. He just comes back for his wallet. You know what I'm talking about? And but when he leaves, him comes back. Him comes back. He comes back to the house. And mother's scared. Afraid that he's going to kill her. But once him gets there, he's like, it's okay, it's all right, it's right. He's gone. So basically, there's a gathering in the house for youngest brother. And at first it's just a few people, but like I say, woman, the way she interacts with him, like I say, fiery mistress or temptress, whatever, I'm like, why is she touching him like that? Yeah. But he says a few words, and said, feel the crying, that's life, oops. And so, I was listening to a house now, a house is not a home earlier today, and you can see the symbolism of the house being a body as well. But her room is not a house. Are you gonna be in? Are you gonna be when you're gonna be? Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be. Are you gonna be? Who don't love? Well. Still in love, so in love. Okay. So, is there a wrench in the road? You're a wrench. I can't remember. Can't remember if there was a wrench in the room. I think she does grab. I think she grabs a wrench or something. When uh, oldest son comes back. I think she does grab something. And I think it was a wrench. Uh, that's big loot, not little loot. You damn, that's big loot, big loot. Big loot. You know that's when all the classes came out. you know. That's my favorite part. Are you gonna be? So you gonna be? Like really, you real, like you being clingy at that point. Are you gonna be? So you gonna be? Are you gonna be? When you gonna be? Say you gonna be? you know, I'm not meant to live alone, and that's the thing about mother. It's like she can live in that house all by herself because all she does is live for the house, but she's in love with look, she's in love with him, and that's what she said. Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be? Are you gonna be? Say you're gonna be? Where you gonna be? That's what she's doing, Okay, got you. And so as the gathering is happening, then they ask mother to say some words, and she doesn't know what to say. She's very detached from she's just nervous or whatever. And then we see that woman has a problem with her. Like I say, woman is just she's so thottish, and then she has a problem because mother is not properly dressed for the gathering. Now she didn't even know the gathering was happening. They just came in the house, what I'm saying? But she didn't know what was going on, and she just went into the kitchen and then just bam, she's like, "You're not even properly dressed." So she goes back and dresses properly, but by the time she dresses properly for the occasion or whatever, you know, More people come into this dang on house. Now they all have different type of names. You got fool, philanderer, things like that, and cupbearer. You know, cupbearer was the melanin rich guy. You know, and so as she comes downstairs, more people are in this house, and one thing you can see is that cupbearer is always around her. In a sense, until cupbearer is trying to get with whisperer, and then she's like, get out this room. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry. But then you see cupbearer and whisperer trying to paint the house in this like aqua neon, well, light aqua blue color, grayish blue. It's like, and he's just like, oh, we're just here to help. We're just trying to help. It's just like, don't paint the walls. They just messing up her creation. They were there to celebrate him. Um, that was a symbolism for the start of religion. At this point, I can't say that yet because his success hasn't. He hasn't even created the work yet. He hasn't even written it yet. It's basically just a wake party for youngest brother at this point. That's what it is. But all these people are coming in, like their family, and they're here to grieve, and they're not, and then they just start messing with stuff. And then you have adulterer. He tries to holler at mother, it's like, this is my car, if you have anything, let me know. And he brushes up on it, and she's like, get off me, and while she's doing that, philanderer and fool, they're sitting on the sink. Now, mother has said more than one time, the sink's not braced, so don't sit on the sink. But they keep on sitting on the dang on sink. Was this they were there to celebrate. What's this symbolism for the start of religion or worship? I'm gonna say yes. Well, no, I can't say that, Sister Deirdre, only because pretty much at the beginning, when man comes in, he had already written a book that was highly publicized. That way, you could say that was the start of religion and worship, because basically the book that they're talking about, we know, is the Bible. So when man says, "Oh, I read your book and it changed my life," it's already been written. So you can't say it's the start when the book's already been written. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm going with it? You know what I'm talking about? But you can say, later on, you can say that it's the start of fanaticism, and blind worship, in the sense, or blind emotional following. We get now, but yeah. And so as they are sitting on the sink, it breaks, which makes her mad. you know so him and mother start to argue, because everybody leaves once they break the sink, which causes a deeper break into the house, up the wall, and it makes her mad. Of course it would, but they leave, and then him and mother start him and mother start to argue. Him and mother start to argue, And then she says, oh, you can't have sex with me. You don't want to have sex with me. You're in love with, being worshipped and all that. And that sends him over to makes him mad, of course, and then they smash. And all of a sudden she wakes up and, mother's pregnant, and she knows it, and she's like, we're gonna have a baby and all this is gonna be nice and whatnot. And so once that happens, you see mother throwing away the yellow powder, what I'm saying. And you see as time goes fast, right? And oh, hold on. Chief had pointed out that the house symbolizes the mind. All these guests also symbolize different thoughts and even a difference in him and mother's thoughts. I would say yes. And then sort of I would say no. Yes, they represent different thoughts. But sometimes I want to say they represent different thoughts or different acts among humans or man. You know what I'm saying? Because what? One was the fool, one was the philanderer, one was the adulterer, one was the whisperer, things like that. So they can be thoughts. Were they the thoughts of him? Of course, but then they manifest themselves into what? Oh, human beings. I think I just had a epiphany. Huh. So yeah, you can say that. Whereas mother's thoughts probably will manifest in how she fixed up the house, um, in each room and compartment. Like you have the baby room that basically was the room that man and woman slept in, and where youngest son was killed. Now it's the baby room. I know, right? Like light bulb just came to me. It's like, oh, I didn't realize I was going to say that, but it happened. Thanks, you, Master Antonio. But it, it's just like, oh, okay. Um, but yeah, I would say that now she's manifesting different things of what she wants in the house. Now that a baby is there, her mind is basically focusing on preparing the house quicker than she probably had thought of, because a new life is on the way. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that's how her thoughts probably come um into fruition. Um and then when somebody's tampering with them, they're like tampering with her thoughts or her own creation, her stewardship of the house. That's why she get mad at, don't sit on the sink, it's not braced. You know what I'm saying? Don't do this. Don't paint the walls. I'm in charge of the walls, and she doesn't want nobody taking over her 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 place or her place in the house. You know what I'm saying? Or what she does in the house, in that sense. Um and so when you have all these people in the house just doing things that just messes up the house, it makes her angry, mess with her emotions, you know. So we have that. And so when that happens, we see that him writes well, is able to create. Now he's able to write. Once she's pregnant and everything, he's able to write. And then she basically worries, once he creates something like a poem or verse, or a new biblical script. She worries about losing him, and he's like, "You can't lose me, baby. You can," you know. And then you see Mother and him about to celebrate, the success of his new book, you know, which I guess you could say the New Testament. And all of a sudden, fans come to the house, you know what I'm saying? And you also see, like I said, where younger brother was killed at, the blood won't wash away. The first murder in that house doesn't wash away. It's never wiped clean. You know what I'm talking about? And we see fans invading the house, trying to steal and take things and whatnot. And this goes back to what Sister Deirdre was talking about, where there was symbolism and the start of religion or worship. You have people just grasping to take things, basically, once the start of Christianity becomes a more international, it's going global. So everybody's trying to take something, take a piece of the house. You know what I'm saying? Or you can say that from the start of man and woman, that's the start of the pollution of the house. You know, in that sense, is their home address on Craigslist or something? Hey, could be. Well, I don't think nobody uses. Maybe it's posted on Zillow. I don't know about Craigslist, but maybe Zillow. You know, you know. It's definitely in the phone book. It's definitely in the phone book, because you always got to have a little talk with Jesus, and tell him about your troubles. So it's in the phone book, because him there too. And maybe if you're lucky, you might get to talk to him. He might answer the phone for you. But till then, Jesus is taking all his calls and screening them. They got call ID, so they know who to block. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, um, so as that happens, what I'm saying, we see that the heart of the house, is becoming more played and more played. It's getting more blacker and blacker. You know, and then just this was a scene where you really like sort of had to pay attention of everything that was happening. You see them, rioting, and then you see them killing people, basically referring to religious fanaticism, how they kill in the name of him, or in the name of God, or whatever. The religious fanaticism that you see in many different religions. Shoot, I thought at one point, as they had like this ladder, I was like, oh, so that's the Tower of Babel, because you had at that point you had a whole bunch of people speaking in different tongues, and here I am like, that must be the part of the Tower of Babel, right? Or whatever. And then you see the enslavement of people in the house. I was like, is that the Babylonian captivity? Or you could say the Maafa, because that was also slavery based on religion, you know, um, things like that. And then here, and every time you have the police, coming in, and I'm like, that must be the Romans, that's got to be the Romans, because when I think of police, I think of Romans. They were the first basic police of the or policy agents of the old world at that time, or the ancient world at that time, you know. I know, Master Antonio. You just called him up. You call him up and you tell him what you want, because he on the main line. He is on the main line, and you just tell him what you want, or he'll tell him what you want. He probably got it written down. He'll tell him that you called. you know, just call him up and tell him what you want now. So yeah, man. You have that, and as she's going through many rooms of the house and visiting so many dang on people, and they are doing so much. She's in a she's full term pregnancy, right? Full term pregnancy. And now she's going through labor pains and whatnot. You know, because it's just like I said, it's just so much. You have rebellions in the house with the cops. I'm like, oh, okay. That's when the Hebrews were rebellion against the Romans. Things like that. Just trying to figure it all out. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah. And so after that, we have mother. She just wants everybody to go. She wants him to kick everybody out of the house. Just tell them to leave. Just tell them to leave. They finally have the baby. You know what I'm saying? And she's just like, please, just tell them to go. Tell them to leave. Well, him don't want them to leave. you know. And because of that, she doesn't want him to hold the baby and things like that. And because she sort of knows that he will probably give the baby over to him and things like that. Um, and so, as she's trying to stay awake, she ends up going back to sleep. She ends up going to sleep, and he takes the baby away from her, as she sleeps. And when she wakes up, and then goes, out of the room or out of the study, he gives the baby over to the people. And so the baby is basically surfing through the crowd, and she's trying to mother's trying to get to him. But all of a sudden the baby's neck snaps and dies. And you can see the people tore the baby to pieces, and then they actually eat him, basically referring to uh, Christ and the body of Christ being eaten by Christian parishioners and things like that. But it's like more cannibalism. Yeah, the bread, body, the bread, the wine. We all had communion. At least some of us. This is my body, which I have bled for. I still hear him in my memory. This is my blood, which I have shed for you. Oh man, it was so dry. But but yeah, so that happens, and she gets mad, and then she tries to take the pieces of her child from them, but it doesn't help. So she just grabs a glass shards and start shaking people like God. She kills like 7 people, and then all of a sudden they turn on the mob basically turns on her, and then beat her up and strip her of her clothing. But then him sort of save her, you know. And so um him asks her to forgive them, but she still wants them gone. She's like, man, I want them to leave. And that's not going to happen. So she goes downstairs into the basement, into the secret room, and she opens up an oil, well, I won't say an oil tank, or kerosene oil, and she just sets fire to the house with man's fire lighter. I guess you could say that was sort of like Prometheus in that sense. Him having given the fire to man or whatever. You know, um, could her shanks be earthquakes, floods, and lava? Perhaps. Y- yes and no, because when the baby is killed, you see basically the earthquake happening when when the floor breaks up, you know. So you can say yeah, and then you can say no. But the killing the people is basically feeling the wrath of what? Mother Earth. So yeah, you can't say that. Yeah, for sure. You can definitely say that. Sister Deirdre. Yeah, for sure. And so she sets fire to the house, and the only thing that's not burned is him, and he basically tells her, I'm a creator. I create things, you know, that's what I do. And she's just like, why did um, why did you do this to me? I don't have nothing left to give. I don't. And he's like, you do have something. You still have love for me, right? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, yeah, she's dying at this point, and just charred up, because of the fire. But he digs into her and then takes out her heart, and then she dies, and he breaks the heart, and then what you see is the crystal, and then once again, you know he sets it on, the shelf of his study, and then it recreates again. Now mind you, mother just wants to be let go, like, let me go, I don't want this. Like him is like him is like a egomaniac, um when it comes to all this. This happens over and over and over again. You see it at the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But he's just laughing like because it's like him's crazy. Him is crazy. You know what I'm talking about? And as the house is being remade over, we see another mother come in, but she's called the foremother, and then it resets, So basically, the house it's basically a cyclical loop, and the recreation of Earth, a Mother Earth or Mother always happens because him has a need, probably. It is an experiment. Well, you, you can say that, but then you can't say that in a sense, because if it was an experiment lab, you will be like, okay, the same thing keeps on happening. Usually a scientist would say, okay, so what is it that we need to change in order for it not to happen? Like, what does him do to change what's reoccurring, in that sense? You know what I'm saying? Um, what's the independent variable, and what's the control? Is the house the control or the independent variable? If we going if we're going experimenting and scientific method, and I have to really think about that. Yeah, independent variable and the control. you know, or are they one and the same? You know, um, so you can say that, but then, um, but do we know it happened the same way before the film starts? Maybe there are variables. Well, it may not have happened the same way, but we know that the result was the same. it may have happened totally different, but the result was the same. Mother dies. Maybe in the beginning she offs herself or whatever, but the same result happens. So what do you do to stop that result from happening? What's the hypothesis? The hypothesis is um if I create it, will they come? um uh or the hypothesis is, what can I create? If I can create anything, what would it be? you know um if um if the house is solely laying on solid foundations, will it not burn down? How much fire does one need to make some milk and cookies? To get some milk and cookies. Apparently, you need to blow up the dang house to get some milk and cookies. I just want some milk. Um, it's the hypothesis. If then statement. I ain't been in school in a long time. um, um, yeah, yeah, it is if then, but shoot, I ain't done an hypothesis in a long time. A dang on self. So if I build it, then will they come? Do you have to do that? I mean, shoot, who writes like that? That's but yeah. Or him is like Willy Wonka. What will he think of next? Okay, I didn't create this great piece of work. Apparently, it changed one person's life, or the father of many nations' life, or whatever. And what can I create next? I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking on the fly. So, but I mean, there could be many hypotheses. In this experiment, what I'm saying. If if I um if I love mother, then will the house not burn down? Bam. Yeah. If I create, will man always destroy? Or if I create, will my creation always destroy? Um, that could be that's look, that's a better hypothesis. Um, because man is a creation. So if I create, will my creation always destroy? Or if I create, will my creation destroy my mate? you know, or if I create, will my creation destroy my lab? you know, um, if I create, will my creation cause my cause my house to burn down? you know, um, because for a minute he did not create. He did not. He couldn't think of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, hypothesis comes after observation. Doesn't need to be then. It's just suggest the explanation for what you observe. That can be tested. Yeah. If I create, I am brain. then my creation is Pinky. Right. Right, Sister Deirdre. Yeah. Um, it's like if this is an experiment, but then what, usually you jot down your results and then you go back to the drawing board. He just puts the dang on crystal back up there like nothing's happened. He didn't learn the lesson. You know what I'm saying? Which make it cyclical and cyclical. You know, um, like this is more of an ego trip, than anything. You know, or that him has an egotistical love of himself that he needs to be loved by any and everybody. Therefore, because I don't know, maybe his love for them is not pure or reciprocal, things get destroyed or the house get destroyed. you know it's like when you have a powder kid or you have a powder kid that's sitting inside the house, then the house is going to be destroyed. I said the house is going to be destroyed. Malcolm X. Anyway, you know when you have a powder keg and there's too many sparks around it, then whatever's around it is going to be destroyed. You know, so yeah. But that's we know that's the end of the movie. I'm just coming up with more thoughts, but yeah, that's the end of the movie, and we just coming up with a hypothesis, using the scientific method to come up with an hypothesis of this creation. But like I say, man, is mother learning because she can see flashbacks of the previous iteration and may even have residual PSD and anxiety. That could, Master Antonio, that could be the pain that she's always having. That could be the pain that she's also having, as well. Where she's constantly being brought back, and the pain of uh or the traumatic pain of blowing everything up and things like that. It's like having muscle memory, and basically the house or the body never forgets, and that could be the pain. What I'm saying? That therefore she has to take that, the yellow pixie dust, with the yellow pixie stick, and to nullify it. What I'm saying? It's not the cure, but it nullifies it. What I'm saying? Or the cure all. What I'm saying? So yeah, I I, I like where you going with that, bro, for sure. Um, so yeah, but anyway, join us next time, because next strong we are doing Beast of the Southern Wilds. You know, that one's going to be interesting. Sulfur is yellow. I wonder if there is a connection. I thought so too. I was thinking sulfur. When I saw yellow, when I saw the yellow pixie dust, I thought of sulfur myself. So I'm there with you, Sister Deirdre, for sure. I'm totally there with you. I thought the same thing. But yeah, next strong we're doing Beast of the Southern Wilds. You know, I almost got it confused with Beast and No Name, but that's what we're doing next strong. Come out for tomorrow for Shema New, and we're gonna get it then. Like, we on economics now, so that's what we heading to. So get ready for it. You know what I'm talking about. So you all have a good rest of your night. Remember him downstairs when you when you want to get some milk and cookies. You know what I'm talking about. They get some milk and cookies. you know. But yeah, him downstairs, him upstairs, him in the upper room, him on the main line. And you just tell him what you want. That's what that's what they do anyway. So yeah. So give thanks, everybody. you know, him in the house. Yes, him in the house, you know, him in the house, him in the bedroom, you know, everywhere. Him in the study, you know, him in the kitchen, you know. So yeah, we him always listening. He always him don't even answer back, but he listening. Him listening, you know. So yeah, but told everybody, and we gonna get on out of here. So give thanks and peace.